Yes.
A completely
Live
ridiculous
stream,
story to the point.
live stream is offline.
But hold it, son of a gun. Well, let's see if we can get back then ASAP. I'm trying to right now, as a matter of fact. So we'll see how this goes. We might lose our slideshow. I'm not sure. And so this is one of the things. It's happened before. It's a little coincidental, of course. We start talking about the original bombing of the World Trade Centers, and suddenly we lose.
Par for the course, brother.
Well, it's a little odd.
That's how it goes.
So I'm going to try to, this sometimes, the last couple of days, we've had a similar problem, believe it or not, where for some reason, we can restore the session that way. If we luck out here, we might be able to, we're definitely, no, it looks like we are back, perhaps. So fingers crossed. Okay. Do let us know out there, listeners, if you can hear us. This is just one of those things. What was the last thing that you heard, James?
And the last thing, Vinnie was just talking about how and this is when they cut it off, how the FBI, and he's got a good point, especially at the Draw Muhammad event, where the FBI agent actually followed the two Islamic terrorists that had AKs in the vehicle that got out and were killed by a guard as they tried to assault the venue. And I can't think of the woman's name now, but she's always like a real agent provocateur, if you know what I mean. I can't think of her name.
How about we may have reconnected here. We'll just we'll see. It's kind of the way we started the show, as a matter of fact, with technical problems. But there's some here that are saying, looks like we're trying to rebuffer, so that's a good sign. I've had to sign into YouTube once again, but we will see if we do manage to regain the stream. Can you see anything from your end, James?
Well, I was still hearing. Yeah, I'm still hearing it. It looks like it's still live, brother.
Okay. Well, oh no. Geez, I don't know. Geez. It looks like we might have lost it. Actually, it'll be broken up into two separate segments or pieces.
That's happened to me several times, brother. I hate that.
Well, and that's the reason why we run the post-production in some cases, to kind of stitch the show together and put it out in podcast form. This way we can manage to catch the raw audio, as it were, and then work with that later. But, it's quite something why this would occur. It's anybody's guess. But once again, it seems to me that and we've pretty much shut everything down here as best we could, to a bare minimum, really, as far as anything that could potentially interfere with the CPU operations and so forth, because you want to keep things pretty bare bones to hopefully offset any potential technical problems. But that's exactly what we've had to endure here. And we will see how this all comes out in the end. We're going to head off to the after show. We got a lot of thanks, of course, to extend to our listeners. Before we do, naturally, Pirate Joe Emanon, who has actually set up a retransmission of our YouTube feed, which I'm not sure how wide of an audience he's managing to reach, but it's an FM signal that he has set up, and it could very well be available on a worldwide basis, just as YouTube is. So anyways, folks, friends, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, let's not forget, we'll be back next week with Freeman Fly of Freeman TV. He's a major figure, actually. A lot of people have heard of. Some people surprisingly have not. And when it comes to the world of esoteric analysis and parapolitics, conspiracy research, and so forth. The week after that, we'll be having Christina Taft join us here once again as a featured guest. She'll be updating us on her latest status and developments out there in California. Of course, she lost a lot of things recently as those wildfires swept through her hometown of Paradise, California, back in November. Her mother was one of the victims, whose life was lost during that disaster as well too. Christina, in addition to all this, had her home completely turned to ash, really. Nothing more than that, frankly. So it'll be good to get up to speed with her, see how she's doing. I wanted to hold off a little bit just because I thought it'd be best for her to have a chance to maybe regroup and refocus. It's got to be tough, of course, a major traumatic incident such as that. So I know a lot of our supporters here are definitely in her corner and have, we've put that $100 pledge out there that we delivered over the Christmas season. There's been a few others who've come through on that front as well too. So that's great to see. And we do challenge everybody else out there to tune in if you have not already become familiar with her story when she appears in a couple weeks. She has a PayPal in place, and it's a cause definitely well worth supporting. That's why we're here for, in as limited capacity as it is, still trying to make a statement. So, Vinnie, though, we haven't got your links. Just in closing here, can you share them with our listeners? Give them a chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to go to minds.com/gmno for my main blog. I'm calling that the main blog, and then my GMno blog, which is Google blog, which is gm-no.blogspot.com. Facebook, just look for Vincent.Nunes.98. That's me, and I have subpages. One is Donald Trump third party, because I knew that he could win even if he ran as a third party candidate. This is back in 2015 is when I created the page. I also have events of September 11th page within that Facebook page, and the media pages, brighteon.com, which was formerly real.video, brighteon.com/channel/vinman13. It's my first email address. And I have a BitChute page also, and that's BitChute.com/CANST, which is children are not sex toys. I never gave away those hashtags, so let me do those. CANST, CANST, children are not sex toys. ZCMAME, which is Zionist child murderers are my enemies. And LBAC, the biggest one, which is life begins at conception. Because this whole thing with these children, like I say, it's not about abortion. It's not about women's reproductive rights. It's about satanic child sacrifice. Understand that. Don't let anyone dissuade you or tell you that bunch of nonsense. Okay, women aren't dying because they're getting pregnant and babies are killing them. That's insane. All right. If anything, they're having babies easier now than they were having before. So to have a baby, you have to do a specific act. All right, which is fornication. All right. Of course, it's much nicer when you're doing it, but that's what it is. All right. And if you're not careful, if you wait the 8 seconds, you got to deal with the 18 years.
I'm sorry, I didn't pick up on that last the closing comment or reference you made there with respect to 18
right.
years.
So if you hang out for the extra 8 seconds, you have to deal with the 18 years.
Okay, there we go. Sure, I get that, and that's a pretty good. It's a little joke there, I guess. That's a very.
Thanks, brother. And I'm honored to be on your first podcast of 2019. By the way, thank you.
Yeah, it's just the way that the stars were aligned. I guess we weren't sure if we were going to have Christina or not. There was a couple people, unfortunately, that they canceled out on us. We had a Korean neurosurgeon lined up. He flaked out.
Wow.
Not sure what the deal is there. We'll be looking into it here shortly, though. And secondly, there was a freelance journalist based out of Seoul. He turned out to be totally useless as well, too, in that he published a very widely viewed article that appeared in a nationally syndicated newspaper here in Korea, English-based newspaper, and it was dealing with ending prohibition in South Korea. If you can believe it, here's the irony: in the North, there's no law against it whatsoever. There's nothing on the books. They can smoke all the weed they want. It's that simple, folks.
It grows from the ground. That whole
Well,
thing is stupid.
well, it's
right.
the Chinese, the ancient, traditional herb, well known in Chinese medicine. They might not like to talk about it a lot, depending on who you discuss the matter with, but that's a fact. And to have an imperial force, because that's what it was. It's all pressure from Washington, 1976.
Right. It's unfortunate. It's so unfortunate.
Southern portion. So during the unification process, we'll be seeing what happens. They're putting the rail lines have now been connected, and there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of work toward unification.
Can I say one thing also? See, a lot of Trump bashers won't acknowledge this simple thing. This unification of the Koreas would not have happened under anyone else. Hillary wouldn't have bothered doing it. She's busy stealing money. So we gotta give him credit for that, at the very least. I guess we can go back to hating him, but he put the Koreas together, and no one else could have done it.
Well, I think I don't know why this is lost on so many people. It's part of this derangement syndrome, I guess. He can't do anything. Can't do anything right.
He grabs pussies. Yeah. Okay. I mean, listen. There's a line. I think that this line is a good capper, as far as it goes. Gentlemen are just patient wolves.
Yeah, that's how I feel a lot of times, actually, because anyone can have their buttons pushed. You can only push most people so far, and they will snap,
Right.
So you got to be respectful of people's space. And generally, if you are, what I have found, it doesn't matter who you are dealing with, that, if you're tactful and diplomatic about it and show a little bit of basic respect, that, things generally go well. Now, if people have outstanding mental issues or something, I guess it's a little different.
Hey, Jeffy,
agenda or whatever.
Guess what? This is not a mental issue. Like the Hollywood producers, like Harvey Weinstein, Bryan Singer, actors like Kevin Spacey. You know what they have? They didn't have any patience. They wanted what they wanted, and damn you if you're going to stop them. And that's one of the problems. They had no regard for anyone else, and I don't see how they rate above anybody else. As far as I'm concerned, making movies shouldn't be dialed higher than porn. In fact, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. I don't know why we try to separate, like the porn industry is separate from the movie industry. It's exactly the same thing. In fact, I think that's where they funnel our young kids when they discarded them after raping them. Is in the porn industry, because now, I traveled all this time. I made it to California, and I'm not going to be a star. I might as well be a porn star.
Yes, indeed. There's definitely something of a tie-in between the two, as you so rightly note. And just looking at things, it appears that we have indeed had our live stream disconnected, and it is now appearing via YouTube in 2 separate locations. So that means that however things managed to become derailed or perhaps hijacked, who really knows what has gone on here, that people will simply have to catch both parts if they want to get the live stream this week, courtesy of ourselves here at Pirate Radio Podcasts and our guest, Vinnie, out of Brooklyn, episode 133. So we're going to head off, though, to the after show. A lot of great energy once again out of the chat area. And there's a little more I'd like to say, actually, before we wind things down here. I think we've heard from Shuff pretty much. Shuff, did you have any closing comments you'd like to share? Let listeners in on, just in summary?
Oh, yeah, I think that Vinny's been a hell fellow well met, and it's been a good show. And all those people that said, and there's one person really that just kept saying debunk, debunk, debunk. They debunked the Kennedy assassination. They debunked the 9/11. they've debunked so much stuff.
Yeah.
But debunked doesn't mean it's not true.
It's a meaningless
and that's
word.
What
yeah, actually,
it is.
sure.
It's just like calling somebody a Nazi. Hey, Vinny, you're black and you're a Nazi.
Would
right,
that qualify as a dog whistle?
You know, it's ridiculous.
Dog whistle. Is that a dog whistle? Does that qualify as an example of a? I hear this term dog whistle when people throw it.
No, a dog whistle. A dog whistle would be like this, man. A dog whistle runs like this. The globalist. Well, what he really means is the Jews.
Right.
It's whatever they want it to mean.
Right. Right. Semantics once again.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll follow up more on things here in the after show. Shuff, presumably you've had your say there. Is that it then? That's good to go.
Aye, matey, and the sea looks clear from the crow's nest. Let's keep sailing, and we will have a good float on the high digital seas.
I'm going to get me some grog.
There you go. Yeah, we take typically about a 10-minute break here and then reconvene via Skype. It's an offline exclusive premium affair, so only available to our Patreon supporters. One of the things that Pirate Joe Emanon has asked here about and for are the show notes. Now, I'm going to, just to be clear, let it be known that we are no longer producing, I think I mentioned this earlier, and we'll get you to mute yourselves when you're not talking there, guys. Vinnie, Kaiser, it just helps with my ability to kind of focus on things here.
I'm muted.
Well, oh, okay. Not there you weren't, but somebody, just whoever's not muted, and okay. All right, but we are looking for people to help out with producing show notes and the post-production into things and putting these podcasts together, as it were. This year, it's simply the live stream that I myself am going to be committing to. There's a lot of work that goes into getting these things up in place and running, promoted, and having it so that the wider world is aware of what exactly is going on here. We managed to draw in, I suppose, and attract, welcome around 10 people at various points here this week, so that's great. I'm always happy when we see numbers like that. Hopefully most will return at some point. Everyone is welcome. All comments, as diverse and sometimes critical as they were great. That's exactly the kind of conversation and dialogue, frankly, that I like to see. Just people being real. And the world is a very diverse place. There's no doubt about that. So we're not to the point yet where we're going to start banning anybody. Nothing, of course, if you overstep the line with, pro-pedophile comments or death threats, that does it for the pirate crew here aboard the Robin Hood, and you'll be promptly shown the door. Owen Benjamin, actually, it's interesting. He's got now a paywall in place where if you don't subscribe to his channel for, I think it's about $5 a month, you can't even comment in the live feed anymore. So in some sense, I guess it helps to keep the trolls away. It also restricts the freedom of speech and people to engage and interact. And let's not forget, a lot of people, they just can't afford that sort of thing on a monthly basis either. So anyways, he's a super popular guy, way more than what we the kind of the fame, as it were, reputation we've managed to generate for ourselves here via Pirate Radio Podcast and WPRPN. But if you are out there and looking for to lend a hand and help out in any capacity, pirate1radio@gmail.com or pirate1radio@protonmail.com. That'll do it. We can also be found via any of the social media links you see down there in the show description area, Facebook, Twitter, minds.com. Not that tough to reach out to and get in contact with. So yes, thanks so much to Missy Nomer69. Really a great active presence there in the second half of the show. Pirate Joe Emanon, Sword.9, Tommy Shutter, Free Cosmos, Joey Boomer. Oh no, am I hearing Caddyshack? Nunes.
Yeah, that's my ringtone. Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. It's not. You used to pronounce your surname. I think it was like Nuns or something. I was thinking Nunes. Like that's straight out of Caddyshack, isn't it? Danny Nunes. Noonan?
Danny Noonan. Yeah, Noonan. Yeah.
That is so weird, man. No, because I was thinking earlier when how do you pronounce your name? Nuns?
Nunes. Nunes, I do.
Well,
but Nunes is fun because it's like, it's just about the same thing. I can stand here wasting time. It's not Nunes. No, it's fine. It's the last name. It's no big deal.
That is so strange because I was thinking when you dropped that a few minutes ago, threw that out there for people that in my head I was thinking Nunes, Caddyshack, and it's weird synchronicity. I'll tell you that much. So how about that? That's quite the note to end on. We'll be back next week with Freeman TV, and following that up on the 22nd, Christina Taft out of her residence in presumably still Paradise, California, of course. So don't forget as well to tune into our weekly Tuesday night World Pirate Radio News live stream, where typically the likes of Kaiser Schaff, Princess Wells, and others, they do drop by and join us. So we're very much looking forward to 2019. It's been a great initial first show here as far as guest feature presentations are concerned. We're going to head off into the outro here, folks. On behalf of Captain Long John Sinclair and all the rest of the crew of the Robin Hood, until we meet again out on the high digital seas, I'm your host as always, the ship's chief communications officer, Jaffe Ryder. Tally ho.
Aye now, there we be. Having carefully looked over each of our navigation panel instruments, checking every level, switch, dial, cable, knob, and pulley, by all accounts and indications, we indeed see it's time, once again, to drop anchor inside Mystic Bay, and draw an end to yet another week of World Pirate Radio Live. Remember, if you're looking for a little more animated online action, keep in mind we've likely got yet another great free-flowing Rogues Gallery after show coming up for the next hour in one of our more premium exclusive and remote digital underground online pirate hideaways. Also, if you yourself have a new, novel, intriguing, or otherwise underreported idea, unique individual, or pressing item in mind, be sure to either drop us a line directly over on WPRPN.com or fire us a quick email via pirateoneradio@gmail.com. We're always open to exploring fresh creative suggestions, intriguing guest ideas, cutting-edge discussion topics, and captivating themes. WPRPN.com network subdomain links are also now available. Great for artists, musicians, podcasters, bloggers, social media personalities, or pretty much just any old land lover looking to boost their online visibility, presence, and reach. Basic personal profile accounts can be launched for just $60 per year. Staking your claim now helps not only strengthen you and the network, we're also looking out for the little guy. That's right, folks. As much as half of all WPRPN's profits are redirected right back into the hands of the people who really need it most. Community charity. After all, we are the Robin Hood. You can further embark on your own personal pirate journey by either liking, sharing, commenting on, subscribing to, or just following us via virtually any mainstream social media platform, including Twitter, Facebook, Google+, or Minds.com. So don't forget to become engaged. Until we meet again out on the high digital seas, I'm your host as always, the ship's chief communications officer, Jaffe Ryder. Tally-ho.